From your vantage position though, Mr. Bajaj, do you still believe we are in a better place today from the economic point of view with various projections, the economic survey, the World Bank suggesting potentially double-digit growth in 21-22, or do you believe that we are still facing a steep incline to get anywhere close to even pre-COVID levels when it comes to growth and jobs and the key issues in a way, when the key economic challenges?
Well, I am not an economist, so I don't have that top-down helicopter view, but I can offer you two insights, bottom-up basis my company and my industry. Number one, I think the answer is it depends what industry you're part of. Obviously, if you're part of travel, hotel, restaurant, mall, gym, etc., you're screwed essentially. Whereas some other businesses, business sectors are clearly doing better. Within the auto industry, you can see that the car which is bought by the general manager or the president of the company is doing well because he didn't lose his job. His salary was not cut back. Even if it was cut back, it didn't make much of a difference. Whereas the frontline worker, the frontline supervisor, the frontline manager, not only in a large company like Bajaj Auto, but more importantly, for example, in my supply chain at the supplier end and dealer end. I mean, those are the people, now whether you call them formal, informal workers, whatever it is, but those are the masses. That is the Aam Aadmi who has been hit very hard. And you can see the impact of that on the two-wheeler industry, within which I can tell you, for example, 125 or 150cc and above, the so-called bigger motorcycle, which is a little more of a lifestyle purchase, is still growing, doing well. But the entry-level 100 to 125cc motorcycle is hit very hard. Now, when I said this in September, so many people jumped down my throat. People in media, the financial community, even from industry, saying, no, government has announced 20,000 crore something, some lots of zeros there in that package, and rural mein aisa ab hoga, or urban mein aisa hoga, and everything will be great. But what has happened? I mean, the numbers are there for everyone to see.
We keep hearing though of a V-shaped recovery. The chief economic advisor also keeps saying this. Do you therefore believe that any recovery is sector by sector, and therefore this is the wrong time for any exuberance to be displayed?
No, not at all. I think a company like ours has done relatively better because half of what we make is exported. So we are in a very fortunate position. But I shudder to think of those companies who count among their customers largely the domestic market, that to the people at the lower end of the pyramid, if I may say so. And that is where, frankly, we've been really short in supporting both people and organizations. I mean, let me give you one data point that a company like Bajaj Auto, if it were to completely stop operations, what would be its standstill cost, as we call it, for a year? Which means that we would make nothing, we would sell nothing, we would pay all wages to everyone, as we did through the lockdown period, and we would have some non-operating income from our financial investments. That comes to 750 crores a year. That is the standstill cost of Bajaj Auto. The reason I'm sharing this with you is to say to you that today a company like ours has 20,000 crores of cash on its books. That means Bajaj Auto can go on for 30 years standing still and still survive. But the vast majority of the MSME cannot. And they don't have a voice. I mean, everybody in this country only looks at BSE and NSE. What about MSME?
Good line. Everybody in this country looks at BSE and NSE, not at MSME. Let me therefore ask you in conclusion, you're speaking today of opening up your minds, of opening up people's minds. You gave us a lovely line. We are moving, you're worried from herd immunity to herd mentality. I presume when you say open up minds, it means when it comes to vaccinations, universalize. When it comes to economy, think of more imaginative solutions to COVID-19. Do you think it's going to happen? Or do you fear that the Indian mind at the moment is a bit closed? It's very state-driven. You need to open it up. Not that the government knows best, but maybe the people know best. How do you open up people's minds on an issue like COVID-19?
Asdeep, I don't know about Indian minds, but I can tell you what has proved very valuable to me through these 12 months. These four thoughts. First, we must talk about relevance. I keep seeing these comparisons in terms of infection rates, in terms of death rates with Western countries, US, UK, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Greece, etc. But when it comes to a stimulus, nobody talks about Western countries. Then suddenly that discussion doesn't happen anymore. So first of all, my submission would be, what is relevant is to compare ourselves with Asian countries, with Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar. And then suddenly we don't look very good in terms of our infection rates and death rates as per the data that I saw, assuming that was correct. So I think first we must come from a point of relevance. Second, I would say, is responsibility. I think each individual has to take responsibility. It's not the government that is going to save our ass, frankly speaking. If I am a comorbid person, I better take care of myself. How I secure myself in my house or in some other dwelling is up to me. If I am a person who can work from home, I should work from home. If I need to go to work, I should go to work with caution. The other day I was in Bombay and I saw 1 million people on Juhu beach. If people are going to do this, what do you expect Mr. Thackeray to do? There's nothing he can do. So people should act responsibly, and at the same time, government should also act very, very responsibly.